Today we're very excited to have a very special guest to speak to us and to share his wisdom. You may know, how many here have ever seen that statue that's outside of the Well, this is terrific because today we get to, a lot of people said to me, is he still alive? And the answer is yes, he is. And he's here today to share with you a little bit about his journey and about his story and why he cares so much about all of you. And so I'm really excited to share this with you. To get us started, I'm going to introduce our Vice President of Development, Sharon Zone. And Sharon is going to introduce to you today's speaker. So.
Well, hello everyone. Like Jay said, we want to welcome all of you, especially the first-time leadership scholars that you're here visiting us. And today, I cannot tell you what an honor to have Mr. Mihaylo here. I'm sure you all feel the same way. Yeah, because of his general donation, we are able to have the privilege of attending this college here, being one of the third largest business college in the nation. So on behalf of all of us, I'm just saying thank you folks, and Mrs. Mihaylo over there. And thank you for giving us this opportunity and privilege to study here. And so without further ado, let's have a time to Mr. Mihaylo and help me to give Mr. Mihaylo a warm welcome. Please.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here. Jay, like Mark Twain, the rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated. And Sharon, that's right. They reached in my pocket and extracted $3 million, and later $4.5 million, and then later 30 more, so almost $35 million. But thank God for food stamps. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. Having said that, I want to comment. I look around the room. I'd like all the men to put their hands up. And now all the women. You're outnumbered about 2 to 1. And I'm going to tell you a little story why there are more women in school these days than men. There's a difference between our two brains. A man's brain is compartmentalized, little boxes that each subject is in, and none of the boxes touch each other. God forbid the boxes touch or the whole thing disintegrates. Now, a woman's brain, on the other hand, is like a big ball of yarn or wax or something. Everything's interconnected. That's why women can do 5 things at once, They can be homemakers, have the kids screaming on one hand, cooking dinner, and go to school and have a full-time job. And the men can barely hold down a job. At a very young age, I became the patriarch of the family. And I think I feel very fortunate for my life experiences. And, we can either look at the glass being half empty or half full. In my case, I really felt it was mostly full my entire life. And I can't tell you how important that is to become a leader. All of you are leaders in this room. But it is so important that if you're given an opportunity of leadership that you take it. So I helped support my younger brothers. And I got a paper job at 9 years old, 10 years old. And I kept pressing my route manager for more and more responsibility. Don't be afraid to ask for responsibility. If you do, you'll be given it. And if you do, you become more and more valuable. I kept pressing for more and more responsibility. And you say, well, how can a paper boy get more responsibility? Well, back then, we delivered our papers on a bicycle, most of them, if they still do it, are probably delivered from a car. And we had about 30 papers we delivered every day. And I said, well, you know, I can do more. This only takes me 15, 20 minutes to deliver the papers. And so he says, okay, the next time a kid quits, we'll give you his route too. So then I was delivering 60. And eventually, believe it or not, on a bicycle, I was delivering close to 400 papers. And you might say, well, how could you do that? Well, I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do it. And on the weekends, when the paper was that thick, I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And believe it or not, you're only limited by your own idea of what is too much. And if you get the idea that the power of your brain is limitless, you can accomplish so much more. This was probably my first exposure to sales. And so when they were telling us what we were going to do the following Saturday, I put my hand up and I said, what's the previous record? And the group manager says, well, you won't do it, so don't worry about it. And I says, no, what's the previous record? And he says, 50 subscriptions in a day. So I worked out a little business plan in my head, and I said, you know, if I get up at 6 in the morning and I go till midnight, that's a full day, right? 11:59. And if I sell 3 an hour, I should be able to beat the old record. So that's exactly what I did. Manager was seeing how many people got, and one fellow got 13 and another got 9 and somebody else got 11. And he said, Steve, how many did you get? And I said, 54. He said, 54? His eyes got bigger than saucers. And I said, well, you said the old record was 50 and I wanted to break it. And he said, well, I was just kidding, it was 15. But anyway, the moral of the story is you're only limited by your own expectations. If you expect great things, you will achieve great things, especially if you have a passion for what you're doing, you believe in what you're doing, you've got the foundation to do what you're doing, and you don't give up. This is one that you should put in your books. It's from Winston Churchill, and he said he kept an entire country and the world going on these words. Every night after his radio address to the English public, and this was early in World War II, he would end with one sentence: never, never, never give up. My dad, who was a LA County policeman, sheriff, literally marched me down at gunpoint to the recruiter's office. He gave me a choice, 4 choices. I mean, that's wonderful, isn't it? If we had 4 choices in life, just think how much better off we'd be. Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines. Went into the Army, I learned respect, I learned hard work, and I learned that there's always somebody that has a little bit more authority than you do. So you have to learn to work in the system. That's important too. Don't cut corners. Whatever you do, make sure you do it ethically and morally. When I got out of the Army, I went to work for the phone company. Back then they called the phone company Ma Bell. They were the largest, most valuable company on earth. They had over 1 million employees. They had over $100 billion in revenue back in the 60s when I graduated from school. And I was fresh out of school. I had just gotten a degree in accounting and finance, and I was good to go. I learned from some of the best sales trainers in the world. J. Douglas Edwards. If any of you think you might be going into sales and it's really hard to get a copy of his audio tapes or CDs, but if you're fortunate enough to find it, he's the best sales trainer that I think has ever lived. And then I took an inventory of skills. I said, you know, I know the technical end of this because I worked for Ma Bell. I know the business end because I got a really good education from Cal State Fullerton. And I've been able to learn the sales end. That's exactly what you need to be in business. I said, the only thing I'm lacking is capital. And you know what? Just like today, guess what happens when you graduate from college? All the credit card companies just send you like magic credit cards. And that was my bank, so to speak. So I took the credit cards and I really had to be frugal. So I went out and I bought an old van from the post office for $50, a Dodge van. And then I thought, you know, I'm going to go into this business. And I thought, well, it wouldn't really be fair to do it here in Southern California with the guy that taught me the business. So I moved to Phoenix, cold turkey, and I moved over there, put my little shingle out to start a business, and it grew from one person, myself, to eventually about 2,500 people. About that time, my phone rang, and it was Dr. Perry, and you know, money, it'll burn a hole in your pocket, right? So that's how the Mihaylo School of Business came into being. And if they needed another Mihaylo School of Business, I'd probably figure out how to do that. I love serving people. If you put others first in your life, the result will be success, because people do business with people that serve. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist or a genetic engineer or the person that finds the cure for cancer to be successful. You just have to find something that your fellow man needs. In my case, it was to talk to each other and do it better than your competitors.
How do you continue that pace when at some point you go, I'm kind of getting tired?
My mentor was my mom. She had one goal, and that was to raise her children, the love of a mother. And I get choked up when I talk about it. So what did she do? She had a 10th grade education. 42 years old, she went back to high school with 17-year-olds, got her high school education. Then she went to UCLA and got a nursing degree. Then she became a registered nurse, was able to make enough money. By that time, I was already in the Army. But my younger brothers, the 3 younger brothers, she took them all back, full-time job, and still raised my 3 younger brothers, put every single one of them through college. 60% or 65% of the people that are enrolled here, they're the first in their families or the first in their generation to complete college. My mother had tunnel vision, and she had drive. And I think that's where I inherited it. So what I'm going to tell you is, I feel that way sometimes now. At 71, telling you is, I get tired sometimes. And I say, dear God, can I do this any longer? And I say, you know, I love it so much, and the opportunity is so great that I can't stop if I wanted to. Got more passion for what I do, and I love what I do. So that's my advice. Really love what you do. Have a lot of passion, never give up. It's worked for me, and it might work for you. Thank you.